Sam here with you on Wednesday, August 15th. We're mid-morning, and I'm going to do an update here. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin and also look at Ethereum today. Separate videos, of course. So stand by here for the Bitcoin update. Now, before we get to that, I'm just a little housekeeping here. We've been running this competition where we're giving away, we have 3 prizes here. First prize being we give a 2-month membership, third prize 1 month, or second prize 1 month, and third prize being 2 weeks. So I wanted to do this and try and do it here live, just so everybody's assured that it's being done totally randomly, as we told you it would be. So you can see here, so I mean, this is the website that we're using for this, and you can see here we had 9,651 entries, which that alone is pretty amazing. So I'm going to do this in reverse order. So I'm going to draw these randomly here. So we'll start with our third place winner. Let's see if I can make this work here. Third place winner. Let's do 1 to enter. And limited entries by date. Okay, so let's draw. All right. So third place for a 2-week free membership to our membership Discord. We've got our winner here, and I will indeed be, well, my marketing guys, they'll reach out to you by email and let you know. So that's our, that's J. Rob with our 2-week free membership. All right, let's see if I can go again. Let's draw our second place winner. We're just going to do 1 here. Let's see, we draw that. So there we go for 1 month membership here. We've got our entrant here from India. This first guy is in Baltimore, Maryland. All right, so that's our second place winner with a full month of free membership to our membership Discord. It's a $200 value. All right, now for our grand prize winner. Let's go to number 3. There we go. Anytime. Let's draw it. And the winner is for 2 months free membership here. Here we go. It's Daniel Che from Granada Hills, California. All right. That's there we go. So I did it in reverse order here. So 3 is our grand prize. 2 is our second prize. 1 is our third place winner here. First time using this software, so sorry for the reverse order here, but there you go. So our marketing guys will reach out to you by email and just let you know that you've been the winner. And with that, we will move over to Bitcoin. Okay, so there we go. Congrats to all. Thanks to all who participated. And we may run something like that again. All right, so here we go. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin. So here I've got Bitcoin to the dollar. This is a 30-minute chart on Bitstamp. So before we get into this, let me just acknowledge that if you're attempting to learn Elliott Wave, or you're new to Elliott Wave and you're trying to get a good count on Bitcoin, let me assure you that this is one of the most difficult counts that you're likely to run into. This is very challenging, and it has been the case with Bitcoin certainly throughout this entire correction or bear market, or however you want to categorize it. This has been very difficult to get good reads on. But I do have a primary count here. Now we're going to work down from our pivot high up here at, we'll call it 8,500 that we made on July 25th. So this move, very difficult. No question about it. So because we have some anomalies here. We have challenges because we're seeing retracements that are so shallow, it's making it difficult to get a good read on it. So let's just work through it here. So from our pivot here, this looks fairly solid that we come down, we get an A wave here. Now it gets a little tricky in here. So if I zoom into this definitely gets a little tricky. So we can definitely get a 1, 2, 3, 4, and down for the 5. We can get a good solid A wave. Now this area here is a little tricky because it looks like I can get a 1, 2 here in white, 3, 4, 5 into an A wave, right? So do I have that magnet on? No, I don't. Okay, so there's my A wave. Then from that, it looks like I get A, B into this pivot high here before I scream down for a C. So it looks like I've got A, B here down into a C before I finally come up here and put in the pivot here, right here at this pivot here where we get a new high here. We essentially are double topping here, but that looks like for this A that I've then got an A, Oh, so do I have this right? Oh, sorry, I got this wrong. Here, let's get this. There we go. There's my, so here's my A. There it is. See, I've already done it. I'm still struggling with it. Okay, so it looks like from this A wave here, right? So let me do it this way. So you can see here, we come A, B, C into a B, and then rip straight up into a C. Right? I don't know if that makes it any easier for you, but it's very, very tricky count here. So what do you do with it, right? So here, there's only so many different ways we can count this. So it looks to me like that's my AB, and then if I look here from my swing high down to my swing low here, well, we're certainly in the range. So effectively, you've got this whole area here where we've got just this shelf of resistance that kicks in up here. You can see it here. So even if I pull this up to get that little pivot. So this just had become this resistance we could not get through, and then eventually we roll over quite hard. So best I can do to get a decent count on this is I think we come in AB here. We're in the range between the 618 and 786, and then we go down hard. All right, so if we allow for that, then it's just a matter of almost reverse engineering. You almost have to work from the bottom up to try and get a good count on it. So coming down here, it certainly looks like I get a 1, 2, 3 into an ABC into a 4. So we want to check and see, is that technical? So if that's my 3 here, so it looks like here 4 at the 38, and then we come down algo target. Now I'm wicking this off as a wave 1. So this looks like just a straight algo play here. They're selling into that front run here. They take the 38, they take it right down to target. So this is a good candidate because I've got a completed 5-wave sequence. I got to identify it. So my best guess here is that given the AB here, that's the 1 wave, because with that AB, I'm looking for 5 waves down to give me my C wave. Well, we've had a lot of complexity coming down here. But I can't not count a 5-wave structure. I complete a 5-wave here. Well, here's where this is difficult. If that is indeed complete, and I take this back to my B pivot here, which let me take that off now, make sure I get right on there. Well, here's the anomaly, right? So this is incredibly shallow for a wave 2, right? To only go to the 23.6. We're in the less than 10% of wave 2s will be that shallow, yet, right? Still, you know, there's a very small percentage of times that you'll find that, and from there, that's the only way I can get a solid count here to work, and it's a little bit unconventional when we get over to the hard right edge. So if we're going to allow for that, if this is a 1-2, and I don't see a better way to count it, if that's a 1-2, well then coming down here, I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the next 1, because now if that's my 2, I'm looking for a completed impulsive wave here. So down, I've got a clean 5 into my 1 wave. Again, a shallow 2. Right, so let's take it from here, looking at that wave 1. Well, 38, we don't quite make the 50. We're at least into a little bit more of the normal range here. Potentially, that's a front run on the 50. We come right to the Vegas wave. A little reaction at the first algo target, second, and then they get all the way to the third. So you know from just looking at to where that goes, we know that's a shorthand. That negative 100 will be very close to the 1618. 175 window. So if I draw this up here, if that's my 2, well, we don't quite make it there, right? So we get through the 127. Now we actually, interestingly, do get it over here. But the way I'm counting this, I don't see another way to do it, because I've got this very clear ABC here. I've got this little ABC to give me my candidate for my 4. Come here, get that up here. So I've got 5 into a 1. 3 into a 2, another shallow 2, at least we're closer to 50. Essentially, we're double topping here, interestingly, right? So we're getting this double top here. So 1, 2, then 1, 2, down we go for, here's our impulse to the 3, A, B, C into my 4. We don't challenge the 1. Then we come down here and I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, have to allow for the, have to allow for this double bottom into a third. All right, let's think about that. All right, so let's check it. So if this is 1, 2, 3, and right, I think we just did this, so but let's just check again. So if this is 1, 2, 3, and I pull this over, well, we're not quite making the 1618. We certainly have plenty of clearance to identify this as the third. And here's where it gets a little bit difficult to get a solid read on it. So coming out of this here, and you can see what we've just done here. So interestingly, just as we, I guess we don't, this isn't relative, just as we double topped here, note we've just done another double top here from this potential forts. I'll tell you what I've got here. So this actually, the fact that we don't break this pivot keeps an alternate count alive, but we'll see if that's going to hold. So from this 1, 2, 3, ABC into my 4, and then it looks like I come down here for the 5th of my 3rd. So in green here, we'd have 1, 2, 3. Well, here's where we get very tricky. So I can definitely get 5 into an A wave here. This is a very clear 3 into an ABC. So it looks to me like what we get here is we get a truncation. So, or pardon me, we get an expanded flat. So from my 5th here, I get my A, then I get an ABC giving me my B down here. So an expanded flat, and it looks like we've just completed a 5 wave here to give me an A, B into a C for the potential 4th. Now, that 4th implies lower prices. So if I consider what that would mean relative to my 2nd down to my 3rd, right? So we're certainly in the range where you would anticipate finding that 4th coming right to the 38. It's interesting that we came up and double topped, and we tapped that pivot, but we couldn't get through it, and now we're getting a little bit of a sell-off. Now, way too soon to declare that pivot is in, but what's interesting about this is that with this expanded flat, because we have this 5 here, I don't see another way to count this, because if that's 3 and this were 4, I can't finish with the 3 down here. I can't, this ABC cannot be my 5th, because it's tempting to want to do this and go, oh, okay, well, they're 3, 4, 5, down we go. Here's the 1 wave, and we're off, and now we're looking for the 1, 2. I don't think that's what's happening here. Because of this 1, 2, 3, I can't complete the count. And I've tried multiple variations of it, and there is no good resolution to allow for this 3 wave here to finish us. So you've got to work backwards and say, well, if that's not the low, and because I've got a 3 wave, well, what else could be going on? Well, we work back to the prior pivot. I can get 5 here into my A wave, ABC down for the B wave here to give us that expanded flat, and then I'm expecting 5 to finish the C wave, right? So this is a real contender here for our 4th, which sets us up to be heading down here to finish the 5th. Right, we don't know that that's where it pivots, but that's a reasonable target. So that would give me, now, of course, what's the first thing that makes you uncomfortable with that? Well, here's the first problem. Look at the 2 relative to what would be the 4, right? That's, well, we'd have to include this. That's a little bit problematic, right? More than a little bit. I don't like it, except I can't get another count that fits there. I can't get something that works to accommodate all of the subdivision. So, point of caution, that's lacking the kind of symmetry that you'd want to look for, yet here we are struggling with it. Now, we would need a few things to happen to invalidate this count, right? So if this is going to if we are going to carry on here and we're going to continue to push higher, we're going to have to revisit the whole thing. And boy, it's just, even if I go down, remember, I'm on a 30-minute, so even if I go down to the 15-minute, it's really tough. Here's the last leg down. It's really tough to get anything other than a 3 there, and I cannot finish with 3. So 3, here's A, B, C. I think we've still got one more push lower. I think it's too early to declare that low in, that the correction's over, and now we're off into a 1 wave. I just don't see that yet here. So it's about trying to identify probability zones. So while it's very possible we can come down here in 3, boy, I just wouldn't buy it. It's too much uncertainty for me to suggest that that's a buy. Now that may be that we end up relabeling and somehow we've got to fit this to make it work. I suppose technically, since we didn't take out this pivot, you could still make a case for some sort of expanding diagonal. I just think that's less likely. So what I think is more likely is this comes down, we end up going into a 3, and then we go 4, 5. So we'd anticipate doing this, and we finish in 5. And then we get our good 5th, so this would come back over here. That's what I think is more likely, even though I hate the 2 wave relative to the 4, I can't get another way to make that work. So I'm leaning towards one more 5 wave drive down to give us that completed structure that we're looking for. Going to make it for, this is not easy trading in here. Absolutely not easy trading. So if you're struggling with it, welcome to the party. The Bitcoin has been very difficult throughout this whole thing, so throughout this whole correction. So as it sits right now, I think the better trade here is still to be looking to the short side if you're comfortable being short in Bitcoin. If you prefer to wait for the long side, as I do, then I would encourage you to consider looking at this. Now, that would not suggest, I would not be suggesting that you take a buy down here. That's not what I'm suggesting. Too much risk. So if that's going to come down one more time, and we do have it finish in 5, I would be waiting for the first 50. So I'd wait to get a new impulse or motive wave, and then this is the trade I would take looking for that. So if I finish that, so it would look like this in the count. This would be our first 1 wave, ABC into a 2. We don't know what depth there. And then we're looking for 3, 4, and 5 to take us back up. Then we have a potential. So here's the trade. I propose, right? So either you're shorting it right now with a stop over this pivot, which is not unreasonable, right? Very, very great risk reward. Let's look at a short. If you were short right here, stops on the other side of that pivot, we're going down to the algo target. What do you get there? That looks like 8.84 to 1. Nothing wrong with that. It's not a bad looking trade at all. And you're essentially catching all the bull trap here. So people are looking at this. We've taken out this pivot. They think, oh, it's 1, 2. They're going to come down here. There will be buyers here. And I think that there's a very reasonable play to be taking that short for one more push down. Now, I could be wrong, right? I understand that. That goes damn near, I'd like to think that goes without saying, right? Nobody knows where it's going. We're just always trying to identify zones where we can look for probabilities based on pattern, history, algo pulls. That's ultimately all that we get. So if this is going to continue to move higher, well, then we got to rethink this. But as I see it, this is all just setting up for one more push down to complete this entire move. So putting it back in context, looking at the whole thing. So from this pivot up here at 8,500, this gives us an A, B, and one hell of a deep C and complex C. And I'm sure there's other ways to count this. So I will leave it at this. That's my primary count. An alternate would be that this is some sort that if this is going to hold, that we may have some sort of a diagonal coming in here. So what that would imply is that we'd finish with 3, not 5. So if this were going to come down, so let me try and show you that if I can get that off of here. Okay, so if we come down here, come on, if we come down in 3, if we go A, B, and we come down in C, that would suggest that maybe this double top here, we're getting an unusual diagonal where we're having the wait. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4 going down for 5. I think that is less likely given the subdivision, but again, I'm wrong all the time. So I wouldn't be trading this as though this were the pivot low and we have a trend change. There's not enough there yet to hang on to that. So I would be very carefully watching this here. This will be interesting. I'll be surprised if that pivot doesn't break, but we'll see. So let's consider what the major resistance we have to get through here. So we got to go all the way back up here and think about where that 50 is. So if this is going to end up, right, what's an algo going to do? Algo doesn't care about any of this. It's just looking swing high, swing low. Here, last time we double topped here, that's an area to be paying attention to. If we can get through that, well, then things start to look much more bullish. But a lot of things have to happen and go right for bulls before we're breaking some of this. So right now, this is the primary. All right, I'd be looking for one more move down, and then I'd wait for that to develop before you can trade it. One other thing that I thought was kind of interesting here. Let me go back out to my 30-minute. All right, we'll take a look at this. All right, let's see. Did we have a pitchfork here? Hang on, let's look here. All right, so we have made the breakout here. Let's get the 200 on there. Let's get the 200. Yeah, so we're still holding there. So from these dominant pivots here, 1, 2, we've just stayed within this within the median lines here. So our 100% has, well, we had a little throw over here, this right to the edge of it. This is contained all the way down here. Now we've had this break here. So this is where, you know, again, you look at it and you say, boy, if we're going to break too much further beyond this, this is going to be in question as to whether or not that can still be a 4 relative to the way I'm labeling it. Let's come over here. With this being our 1. So if I take this and bring it back over here to this 1, we've got to get to, what do we got there? 72.86 to invalidate this count, right? So this would be highly unlikely that we'd have a 4 going that high. So I think right now, boy, again, so it looks like we're going to challenge this high right now. So it would not surprise me that we finish. And if I go back down here and we look at where we are on the algo pull, so if we're looking for the wave 2 to the wave 3, right, what have we done? So we've just wicked it. Looks like, so interestingly, so we just get that, we get the first little reaction. If they're going to keep going, well, here's the second target up here. This could keep going. So this would give us all of this. Now, the further this goes, you know, the more the symmetry gets skewed. So I'm staying with this right now. Do we have any, let's see if we have any divergence here. You know, I mean, so RSI suggesting a little divergence here. So if this were going to roll over here and we're going to head down here, well, then this divergence here is not without note, right? So we have higher prices here, yet the RSI has not matched that in terms of a higher reading on the RSI. A little bit of divergence here as well. So this, if it's going to roll back over, if we're going to complete this 5 here and go back down, it's going to need to do it fairly soon. But interesting where we sit right there. So that's what I'm seeing, and we will just update it here as we get more data. If this count gets invalidated, or if upon review we rethink it, well, we'll do an update again tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see where this finishes the day. But you know, right now that's what I'm seeing. So again, congratulations to the winners. Please do give us a follow over on Twitter. We do make an effort to engage with you there, and you can always learn more about our membership over on the website. That's tradedevils.com. All right, guys, back to you later.